Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I grabbed a 2021 chart online and just made a copy and overlaid it on our current chart. And it says we could just gap straight up. Um Basically, here's our breakout, which we never showed like a massive breakout. We just kind of broke, back tested. You can see this orange line and this red line coming down to a tip here, and we broke, back tested, and then we're sitting here. So when I overlay this, how did I do that? In this timeline, I know this says like 2028. That's not, we're just looking at the action, the run action, and trying to line that up. So just on the inverted head and shoulders, I have an 8 to 9 target, at least, and on the first kind of fib. Uh, so yeah, just to do that, once we break like 287, 290, we trigger that. So that would prove. So if we gap up, we could be on this candle here, Monday, like a little gap up, slam down, and then close higher, and then another gap up, slam down, close higher, and then Wednesday the big gap up. So yeah, I just want to make a comparison. This would show, according to the Livermore chart, which I'll bring up over here. Um, yeah. Now, how this works, and I did this on the semis before they ran, and everybody's like, "What are you talking about?" And then they ran, and then they went to the top. Actually, SMH cleared this top by a while, and it worked perfect. It actually it overshot this Livermore accumulation cylinder on the semi on SMH and some other things. I could show you, but I'm not going to. So it was a similar, this winding up, this coiling into this widening cylinder, right? And I'll show you another view of it. So basically what this says is here was your lead in, your 1-2 was up here. So it's actually a bigger cylinder than we think, but this is the best I could capture it. The volume, see how it says plus volume here? See that plus? And we got plus volume there, and we got plus volume here. Really, and this is minus volume, and look at the declining volume into here, and then as soon as it said plus, we got that big volume bar again. And now we're just breaking out kind of this. See how these lines are over here, the 50, the 55, 60? Well, we're just breaking out the one that matters, the number 6, right, and the 65. So if you ever line this up, and it fits I've lined it up with our pivot resistance, and just to get a real good view of what to expect. And trust me, like this guy made these handwritten like 90, 100 years ago or whatever, and they're still one of the best things ever. So what this would imply is that I put this Friday, July 31st date, and basically, I don't know if you've seen some of my chart timing, but I put in like a line where the stock should be going. And if it doesn't do anything by that line keeps going up. So as of right now, this line is at like 992. So that is pretty much my inverse head and shoulders price target currently once we trigger over. So can we just gap straight up to that zone Monday? Yeah, in my book, yes, you're past due. You should have been at this 8. You should have been $7, excuse me, by Friday, July 17th. So now we're a lot later. So now do you just make up the time and go straight to 10 before any pullback? So there's two things because of AMC's history. It likes to kind of go in between, maybe time wise, like to August 10th or, maybe right in here and just go all the way to the top, right? Just squeeze all the way. So there's two things that I see could happen. We could have like a 3-day and 4-day run into this zone here, like kind of 8 to 10.50, 8 to 12, something like that. And then like a 2-day slap down and then whatever, and then just do another leg. Or we could just gap to here and then who knows, maybe it cools off for a long time. I don't know. But the indicators are pointed straight up. The breakout is in play. The cylinder is done. Now it's just to see how far, how fast, what happens. So yeah, that's it. Let me show you one more view of this. This is a better view on a linear chart on Thinkorswim. This would have been your 1-2 lead in, then your 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. So it fits really ideal on here. So yeah, I mean, I triple compare this in my work all the time. This would be your 6-5 breakout, like I was showing you on the other chart. And let me bring over a picture of it, and we'll go over it real quick, okay? So here we go. Just comparing apples to apples. This was you needed a 1-2 lead in. So you're coming from a downtrend, you need to start trying for an uptrend. You tried here, right? You had a 1-2 lead in, and then you hit a low. 1-2 lead in, then you hit a major low, right? And then you came up, so that was your 3, was right here. And then you needed a 4. So this was your 4, that first rally. And then you needed a 5. So this 5 was here. And then you needed a 6 to confirm, a perfect 6. On this chart, it is absolutely perfect. So a perfect 6, you needed a 7, a slam down. And now we're right here, right? You need to break your 6 to confirm your breakout of the cylinder, right? So we're right here, literally right here as of Friday. We're trying to confirm our 6-5 breakout right here, this accumulation breakout at 6-5, right here. So once we hit that 6-5 breakout, we go to 8, which remember in the other pictures, 8 now, we're now over here. So 8 is like $8 to $10 per share. But according to AMC's history, it can do it all in 1 week or possibly a carryover of 2 weeks. So I don't know if this thing's just going to go crazy because everybody's saying it's going to go slow. So it probably goes crazy. And it just goes straight to the top, like to that 20, I think it's 25 to 35 area up here that it insinuates. Which the first 25, this could take another month or weeks to tap that final top. But for me or anybody in a contract, I would be interested in, if it gaps straight to here, I would think it's going to stall. If you take it like a 300% gap up, yeah, probably might max out the indicators and have to cool off for a minute, maybe a month or two, and then go for the second thing. But or maybe even just a week, in AMC. But that's the only question to me is: do we go straight through the 8 to the 910, or do we just kind of just make up time here, go to 10, and then kind of pull back and then do the 910 later? So that's the only interesting part. The cylinder, as you can see here, we're going to have a breakout. On the weekly, it's ideal. Yeah, on the daily and the short term, you don't really look at those on a stock like this. And I could show you've all seen it. I'm going to go over this one again. So yeah, just showing this, it looks like you could literally just, if this was kind of like Friday, this candle, and you literally just gap up to something crazy, that may cool off for a little bit. I don't know how long, don't ask me, but we had 2 hammers in a row, right? I could show you here, it's hard on Thinkorswim, but I'll show you real quick. We had these 2 hammers. This is a daily on AMC. We had these 2 hammers, and those are threatening, guys. Hammers anywhere on a chart always make a statement. And on a squeeze, it just shows that people are still willing to short into a major zone up. And it's absolutely crazy. But we just had these 2 hammers the last 2 trading days, right? Right at breakout zone. So so do we just gap straight up Monday? I think we could. I think we could gap up 300% on Monday. Think I'm crazy? Let's see what happened Monday. Yeah. I mean, we got Spider-Man over the weekend. We just had record earnings. I think some people aren't bullish enough. If you look at the MACD too, it just broke out, right, past this previous high back over here when we hit 93. So it just now broke out on Friday. So now it's going to try this next high, which would, and it's ultimately probably going to go up to here. So there's a big breakout pending on MACD. This chart I've been sharing on this is the monthly. You have where in 2021 when the OBV got this high, you just went crazy over the pivot. We're right here again. Look at the OBV. It's right on that pivot. We're right on that pivot. That's when the stock went crazy, went straight up. So here again, it would be the measured move for this kind of. Here's how you find the measure. Well, the measured move for this wedge, this falling wedge that we just confirmed breakout and back test right on the apex. Measured move for this is like 21 and change, 22 maybe. So yeah, could you just pop? Well, you back here when you cross that pivot on the monthly, you just went pop straight to the top. So we're right here. Friday we closed on a monthly basis above that pivot. And you can see here in 2021, you could never close on a monthly basis above that pivot. But in 2026, you just closed right on or right above that major pivot. Okay, you could see the reaction last time we went straight to 12, right when we held this pivot on the monthly, straight to 12. So what do we do today? Do we go straight to 12? Well, are the fundamentals better? Are things better? Are there more owners in the stock? Do we just go straight to 21? Can you just kind of go something like this and say, let's just, you have like a, are we doing like a mini megaphone here, guys? To me, I would think so. Do we just confirm? Are we about to cross the center line of this mini megaphone? See the center line? What happened back here? Did not we have a mini megaphone of some sort? First you had this one, right? That was a mini megaphone, and right when you cross the center line, where'd you go? So right when you cross the center line, where are you going to go? And then you could also say it turned out to be a bigger megaphone. So could you say this maybe later on in the year or something? I take it from here. Whoops, why did I do that? But anyway, that gives you an idea what we're looking at. So let me show you one more thing. This is well on the, this is on the weekly, the same program, same bad program, the same bad thing, is that you have dual convergence breakout. The last thing is just this little pivot. So we basically have 1 penny to go to clobber this pivot. Because the pivot is actually based on the close, not the wick or anything. So this was 283. So if we get over 283 on Monday, we smash this pivot. We already smashed while we were chewing and going up and down all week and doing that chewy, just like consolidation, chewing, accumulation type stuff, was because we were chewing through this line. We were above this 257, this purple lavender line coming down of the falling wedge. And we were chewing on this pivot, major pivot, which is the same as this major pivot. So last time when we went above that major pivot on a week, look what happened. We had 2021. So next week is above this major pivot on the week. So what do? See this loop where we go down and then through the pivot and up? See this loop here where we go down, this final loop through the pivot and up? That's next week, in my opinion. So see the final loop up, this final loop up, boop. So all the indicators, look, it's pointed straight up. This is positive for the first time and ever since like here. Since here, December 2021, the weekly MACD is 0.15. It's positive. And the last time it went positive was here. I don't know. Anyway, guys, that's it. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm excited, but of course, it has to happen. All right, enjoy your weekend. Go see a movie.